Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lawless TV. And she is a spiritual empowerment coach and the founder of Raw Coaching. Welcome to the show, Kim Constant. How are you?
I am great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's such an honor that you're here. So tell me, what does a spiritual empowerment coach do?
A spiritual empowerment coach. So I was obviously thinking about this phrase. What I'm helping people to do essentially is to connect with their divine self. We have a higher self that gives us all the information that we need. We have a soul that gives us the recipe for creating an amazing life. So I'm helping people essentially align more to who they are, uh, give them the best possible value to the world that they can, and create the best life that they could ever possibly imagine, really.
And how do you do that? Are you? I know you're in the Netherlands, right? I hear
At
that. No, right. You live in Ireland, right? But now
Ireland.
you're visiting your grandma, right, for your 90th birthday. Was that it? You know?
Correct,
Oh,
correct. Yep, we
good.
celebrated yesterday.
Yeah. Awesome. So how was that, by the way, before we get there?
How was the birthday? Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, actually very, very special. She was just in hospital the day before. So that was, well, obviously quite a fright for myself and my mom and my sisters.
Mm.
But it was a lovely party. We had, all of her relatives over and enjoyed some beautiful food, some sunshine. We were sitting outside. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was very, very special to have her here and to have
Yeah,
such a strong bloodline.
and I always, when I hear those stories, because I never had like a close family, so I've always
Mhm.
like, it's always my immediate attention, right? But it is part of your spirituality, right? To connecting
Absolutely.
with your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors. And so tell me, how do you connect with your ancestors and your family to get self-empowered?
How do I connect with my family? Yeah, I think it's of most recent years. My mom has always been very spiritual. We grew up, so I have my two sisters. My mom, she was always into, consciousness, and she was feeding us information from when we were very, very young. But at the time, it was like, oh yeah, mom, whatever. Like, okay, she's coming with some more spiritual stuff. Yeah, whatever, woo woo, kind of crazy. And only the last couple of years, I actually started tapping into that myself through a series of things that happened in my life. So our relationship has really become much stronger than it was before, or maybe that's not the right word to call it. It's become more intensified. It wasn't a bad relationship before. It's become it's gone to a new level, I suppose, where we're sharing so much deeper information, and I'm listening as well to what my family members have done. They're actually entrepreneurs as well, which I never really looked at before. I'm like, oh yeah, now it all makes sense. They all had shops and businesses of all kinds of, yeah, all different types. I'm like, oh yeah, so I am actually following in the footsteps, even though often you think, oh, spiritual, what are people going to think? It's all woo woo, as I was saying before. But
And
no,
yeah,
it actually makes so much sense, because whatever type of business you have, your aim is to support people, add that value, and yeah, automatically, if it comes from a good space in your heart, you get that value back, of course, in some shape or form as well.
right, and you're still in a corporate career, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And so are you? When did you come to the realization? Wait a minute, like everybody in my
Mhm.
family is an entrepreneur, right? So, but you're still happy where you are, right? So, but
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm so grateful where I am today. So yes, I work for LinkedIn. I work with marketing. So I support businesses in the Netherlands, here specifically where I am today, with their marketing strategies. So adding value to them and how they can, spread their value more. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, from a digital perspective. So that's been amazing. I mean, it's a wonderful company, and I've gotten so many opportunities, and still do today. And then it was probably about 2.5 years ago, my dad suddenly passed away. And that was a very tough moment for me, because, God, yeah, I'm like, oh, I can cry now. Because my parents got divorced when I was 11. So the contact with my dad has been, minimal, to literally like not even a handful of times. The last time I saw him is when I was 23. And so I literally got a text some morning. My mom was in Australia, so with time zones and everything, I got a text, woke up at like 7 in the morning. Oh, by the way, your dad has passed away. Might not have been the exact, the exact text in
right,
the message, but that was kind of the gist of it. And it was really difficult for me, because I didn't even know what I was allowed to feel, if you know what I mean, because, oh, I haven't seen this man in 10, 12 years. He is my dad biologically, but our relationship was, wasn't really quite there after they divorced. So it was a very tough period for me. And within a week of his passing, or within a week of me finding out, really, because he had passed away 2 weeks before that, it was actually quite, well, I will share it because it was quite terrible the way he passed away. He was actually found dead in his apartment. So, geez. Kind of. It was really tough, because it just shows how deep you can go as a person, or how terrible things can end up if you don't, have those relationships with people. If you push everybody away. He died of a terrible disease, and he was very insistent in wanting to heal himself, and so he literally pushed everybody away, and was found. Well, his body was found by the police. His door was open for a couple of days, and the neighbors called the police, and that's when they went in and they found him. So, yeah, it was very, very tough, because it really made me think, wow, how low can we go, are the words that kind of come up for me, so how terrible that my own my own father ended up this way. So in saying that, it actually gave me a lot of, well, beside it being emotional and me having all these thoughts of, can I even grieve? What are people going to think? Oh, you haven't seen your dad in 10 years. Can I even stay at home for 2 weeks and, cry and go through all these emotions that I have?
What went on your head? Because I know that like when my biological father, who I think I met only once in my life, like when I was 4 or so, I don't even have an active memory of that. But when I learned of his death, I'm like, you know what? Now it's like I never have the chance again to ask the questions that I wanted to ask, right? Even though I've never had any kind of relationship, I felt that sense of loss still. So how was that for you?
Pretty much the same thing came up in my head, where I had been in this phase for about 6 months or so, where I was having this internal discussion of, okay, he's in hospital, shall I go visit him? And then I asked my auntie, I asked other people, should I go? Is it going to be of benefit for me? Yes or no? And kind of like a back and forth, kind of like a mental ping pong somehow. And I ended up not going. And when he did pass away, wow, I felt this huge sensation of guilt of like, God damn it, I could have actually gone, and I could have actually had this conversation with him, not knowing what the outcome would be, or if it would even add anything to him mentally. He had been affected already as well. So the guilt was one part of it, of like, okay, I didn't take this step, and now I really do regret it. And secondly, kind of like this feeling of, how can I describe it? Of even being able to, or even being allowed to grieve for somebody that you like physically or, well, emotionally did not really have a relationship with, yet you ultimately do, because half of my DNA is comes from him, so that was really this thing of like, oh, am I even, so it was about guilt and about allowing myself to feel things. So the emotional side of expressing things and being kind to myself is something that comes back very often.
You said allowing yourself to feel things, in general, or with regard to your father?
Both, but in that specific moment, it was more around regarding to my father, of not going to work and being at home and just going through that grieving process.
And then you mentioned that was like a pivotal moment for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So within, I always knew that I wanted to become a coach from probably when I was 18. I sent a bunch of emails to coaches in the Netherlands. Oh, where do I become a coach? What is coach school? Where do I go to? And all of them got back, yeah, go get yourself a university degree and study, and we'll talk. So when he passed away, that was really realization for me of, hey, life can just end like this. So within a week, I was enrolled in a life and executive diploma course. And so, yes, it was like this push for me, this well, let's call it an awakening, and what word can I use? Kind of like, yeah, allowing comes up as a word again, but kind of like a permission, as if I got a permission of like, oh yeah, because this had happened to him, I don't want to, I guess in a way, feel that guilt as well at some other stage of my life. So if I want to do stuff, I need to go do it, and nobody else is going to do it for me.
Yeah.
So that was, that really changed my life, because the coaching course was something I had always wanted to do, only did it 12 years later. And that kind of got me going on this coaching journey, self-development. Yeah, you analyze yourself inside out, upside down, within one of those courses. And
but it's interesting though, right? So that we need those crises. You said, like, I knew, like, I needed to be a coach since at age 18, but it's really in the moment of those crises, which when you're there, you feel helpless and sad.
It's like you're shaken.
Wake up call, right?
A wake up call. Yeah. Exactly.
So now you do that. So you started to build your clientele, right? And you work already with a number of people. So how has that experience shaped how you have your program and the people that you help? Well, you finding your target group, rather, right?
Yeah, perfect. I wanted to just maybe add one more thing that shaped that journey even more. So I started off with a life and executive coaching diploma, and within that program, I started coaching people, and after that as well. And then a second pivotal moment kind of happened 6 months, 8 months later, which is when I discovered a lump in my breast, which, when I had the conversation with the doctor at the time, was a kind of tumor. And that was also like, oh my God, now I'm going to die, basically. So that really pivoted me into a deeper layer of, self-exploration. And that's when I started exploring all kinds of spiritual, all kinds of modalities, past life regressions, God knows what. And that's how I came on the journey of the Akashic Records, which is one of the main things I work with today. Even though it's a combination of everything, the self-healing process is what has really brought me to this closer connection with divinity, with who we are, essentially. So how I work with people is basically I do readings for people. That's the first part of the program that I offer at the moment. I offer a ton of different readings, but what's on my website right now is called a soul empowerment package. So
explain to me real quick. So what a reading is,
reading.
How would I envision that?
So a reading would literally be like we're doing right now. It's an online. It can be offline as well, but my scope is global. It's limitless, so it can be with anyone.
I don't have to be in the Netherlands. I can work with you. Okay.
No, exactly. So it's kind of, I would kind of compare it with astrology. You give me a few pieces of information. So in this case, it would be your current name, your name at birth, your date of birth, and your place of birth. And that allows me to access something called the Akashic Records. So I'll briefly explain it so people know what it is. We are physical body, we're vibration, and we're based on the third dimension. Our mind and our emotions are based on the fourth dimension. And on the fifth dimension, and there's 12 or more, on the fifth dimension, that's where the Akashic Records are located, which is basically like the World Wide Web of souls. So it's like a library. So I've been attuned to this dimension, just like you would to, say, Reiki, the Reiki energy, or some other type of modality. So I use a pendulum to access that. So I have very specific points of entrance, which are the piece of information that I need from somebody. I access that. I see if the soul is willing to work with me. Some cases it may not be, or may not be ready, which has hardly happened to me. So in most cases, we're screaming to, well, not in a negative sense. We're very open to being worked with and to revealing who we are in essence. And then I have a very clear protocol of questions, because you need to. It's like Google searches. You can search endlessly.
So how do you do that? So can you do that like on demand, or do you need to prepare? And you need that upfront information, right? So
I need that upfront information. Yes, without that, I cannot access somebody's information. So that's what I need: those 4 pieces of information, and then I do literally 10-second meditation. So I go into that dimension. So it's like logging onto your computer, basically.
Can you do that with me right now?
Can I do it with you right now?
Yeah.
Well, it would probably be better to do that like on the side, because I need all of the information. But technically I could, yeah. Technically I could just sit here for a few moments. I don't have my pendulum here with me right now, but
Okay.
Yes. It's instant. It's instant. I literally need 10 seconds to get into the mode, get into the zone, basically, and then I can ask all the questions that I need to ask.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and so that's the basic of how I would start doing the reading. So I don't do it live quite yet. In the future, I probably will, but for the moment, I prepare it up front. So I get some of the information, and I prepare all the information that I have available to me that I need or that I can transmit to the person in a dosage that is, digestible for the person, because I can get so much information, but we can only really deal with a certain amount of change, I suppose, to start taking new actions, because that's what it's all about. It's with any type of coaching or, well, whatever type of healer or anything, somebody you're working with, it's all action based. So
Okay, so after this call, I just already made a note, like after the call, I will absolutely contact you, right, again with my information, and we do this again. Right?
exactly, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to work with you, of course.
I would love to.
For sure, yeah, I'd be more than happy to.
So for me, it's easy. I just send you an email, right?
Yeah, you send me an email. Yeah, you send me an email at
How will
hello at,
everybody else contact you?
yeah, so it's hello@ruacoaching.com.
Yeah.
So that's Rua, RUWA,
And we will put that
coaching.com.
either wherever you watch this, right, guys? Either there, so somewhere. You also will put it into the comment box, right? So we have you.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'll share this video as well, of course, on my social media. You can find me on Instagram, Rua Coaching. Yeah, just type Rua Coaching and you'll find me somewhere.
Awesome. So I find you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so once you've gone through, so I give you the information. Once you've done all of that, how do you actually help? What do you do? What do we do with, what do I need to prepare for, right? Mentally.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah.
Read something to me that, like, I don't know, you were like in your past life, you were
As
an
well.
entrepreneur or whatever, right? So is that the kind of information that I get?
Yeah, that's absolutely the kind of information that you get. So basically, the first reading has two parts to it. One part is about who you are. So to give a bit of context, we are incarnated in a human body right now, which means that we have a soul. There are souls that are spirit guides, for example, or there are souls that have chosen a different vehicle of being for themselves right now. But everybody that is on Earth, we're incarnated, and I can access. It's kind of like I call it the divine soul blueprint. So it's like a blueprint, of a house. You have your big sheet with all the blue, drawings on it, the living room and whatever, the kitchen. We have that as well, to understand who we are essentially. We were all created back, I don't know how many centuries or thousands of years ago, with a different composition. So there's 8 divine gifts, for example, and we all have a percentage of every single one of them, though we have primary and sometimes secondary gifts that we can work with. And if we are living exactly in accordance to the gifts that we have, so percentually, it's very scientific, actually. I thought, oh my God, yeah, I'm going to become a psychic. What does that look like? It's very scientific.
I was going to say, like, a lot of that has actually been scientifically proven and as being present in the DNA, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not just like, out there stuff,
No.
right? Yeah.
Well, I suppose it depends on everybody, how open they are to learning about this. But yeah, it's honestly the protocols that I work with, or that we work with from a soul alignment perspective, they're very, very strict, and it needs to be clear, because it's like going on the internet. You can search absolutely anything and you can be lost for a couple of hours. But if you don't ask the right questions, you will not get the information that you need, right? So it's about being very, very consistent and very, very accurate in what you're trying to find.
So I can talk to you about that, like, for a long time, right? So we have like one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, perfect.
Real quick, what is the outcome of all of that?
So the outcome is, on the one hand, an understanding of who you are essentially and how you can be more aligned with that. And the second piece, I go into blocks and restrictions, choices that our soul has made in past lives and sometimes in our current life that are holding us back. So they're patterns and behaviors that are holding us back from, living a fully financially abundant, healthy, happy life, because we've taken that choice and we've kind of dragged it forward until today, and we're still, expressing an energy of God knows what, timidity. We're being very shy because we had a shy moment there, like whatever, 10 lifetimes ago. And we're still portraying that behavior. So it's kind of like an energetic cleanse. We're removing all of this kind of gunk or stuff or rubbish from our divine soul blueprint. We're clearing that. You get a boost of energy, you know more about who you are, and then the consequent the sessions afterwards will define actions in that first session already. So we need to change, we need to go outside our comfort zone to see a change vibrationally. And then the consecutive sessions are going to be about taking more actions to align more and more and more to who we are, because that's where basically, well, probably 95% of the world. I always say I'm not quite an Oprah yet. My version of Oprah.
I like it.
That's what it is.
I like it that you said yet. So,
yet, of course, yet, because it's all about changing our vibration, changing our energy, being more aligned to who we are, and that's when results come into our lives. Automatically. It doesn't need to be hard, but yes, we need to be consistent. We need to take actions outside of our comfort zone, because only then are we going to see change. So it's an awareness. And then it's an action plan. We do an integration, some integration work as well. So subconsciously, all of the clearing work is settled. And then it's about taking action and about, embracing that new version of you ultimately.
Amazing. I do need to work with you. So you will get
Perfect.
all the information
Great.
later on. Remind me what are the 4 pieces of information that you need?
So your current full name, your full name at birth, your place of birth, and your date of birth is all that I need.
Okay, I will send you that, and then I'll schedule my session. For everybody else here that's watching this, right? So you can go to ruaconsulting.com.
Rua Coaching.
ruacoaching.com, sorry, ruacoaching.com. Kim is going to be tagged wherever you watch this, here, or there. Facebook is going to be there, YouTube there. You get it, right? And I will not wait. So you should do the same, right? So contact Kim right away. Ask for your first session. I've heard people using her services, and they're extremely happy. And I know her business is already full, not overbooked, but getting there, right? So very close.
Absolutely.
So don't wait, do it now. And always remember, as you work with Kim or you go about your own life, live, matter, and stay amazing. Bye.